You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas Podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley. I just felt like I needed it. Like, we've just been so busy. And then, the three of us, Annabelle, Mike, and I have had a cold since last week. It's been over a week now that we've had this cold, and it's not COVID, but it's like it may as well be, because we did better when we had COVID, because now all three of us are sick. And usually it's just like me and Annabelle or Mike and Annabelle, but like when all three of us are, there's really just no adult here. It's just we're just surviving. Annabelle is on medication from the doctor, and so she's gotten like steadily really a lot better. And so basically she's just dragging Mike and I around by like our tails, like
she's like, I feel great, guys.
Right? What's going on?
On the couch like that? What's happening?
Yeah. I'm like, we might need to bring you to my grandmother's or Mike's mom's or something, just so that we can catch a break. Like, we might need to. But anyways, we're feeling better. It's just we still have the raspy voice and the stuffy nose and little things.
It's always when I feel like I sound the worst, when it's like when I'm starting to feel better, but then I actually end up sounding the worst.
Right.
Because like everything's loosened up and ew, that's gross.
Oh my God. This thought is like exactly how it is for me. And I remember back when we were taking state boards, I took state boards before you for cosmetology, and I had this really bad cold for like a week. And I was at the tail end of it. I didn't have any symptoms anymore, but that dry cough every once in a while would creep up. And I was in the middle of like perm. I was almost done with my practical test. And all of a sudden, one of those coughing fits creeps in. And you have to be so sanitary. You can't. You're like washing your hands between every move that you make when you don't have a cold. And so I was like, I looked at the instructor and I was basically like, what do I do? Help me.
You're like, see, I'm using sanitizer, wiping my hands, using
shoving it up my nose.
Do you guys see? I remember that. Like, I remember I dropped my comb. I kept dropping my comb during like my haircut because I was nervous. And I kept dropping my comb, so I kept making a big production of the fact that I was like, I pulled out a new comb and put that current comb like aside, like in my little container that was marked barbicide. And like I made sure, like I like waved it around the room, like, does everybody see what I'm doing right now? And I think at one point the instructor wasn't watching, and I go,
excuse me.
The instructor would like look at me, and then I'm like taking it, I'm like, put it in this bucket. He's just like, got it, thank you, check, you're good.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, because you get docked for that shit, so if they don't like, see what you're doing,
right? And I feel like when you get docked on practical, it's just not good. Like, it's one thing if you get docked on like state laws and stuff, like, because there are some like big words in there, like we get the gist of it, but not everybody gets good grades on the state laws, so anyways.
Do you remember that lady Molly that we were in school with? Do you remember her? She was really sweet, but like, God bless her. She didn't really speak like a lot of English, and we were all like, how is she gonna
do the state laws?
Because she kept doing everything wrong, and I'm just like, I wonder whatever happened to her. I wonder if she's like,
I know. I think of our hair school people often. Like, sometimes I feel like I see people out and about, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's so and so. And like, I don't even remember the name of the person who you had bring to my quote unquote purse party. See, I'm still calling it a purse party. It's been like 20 years. You were, because you threw a surprise party for me. You and the girls threw a surprise party for me because I was graduating and because I was leaving. I was moving to Hawaii, and you threw a surprise party for me. And like, you were barely talking to me because you were trying to keep
because I'm the worst at a surprise. So I so our listeners know.
Yeah.
I was throwing this surprise party for Sonia for graduating cos school. And like, I'm like literally the worst with surprises. And so I team up with our this other girl we were friends with in beauty school, Jen. And I'm like acting like I basically got really close to Jen because Jen and I were throwing this party for Sonia, but Sonia didn't know. And so the only way that I could like keep this from Sonia is to basically just fucking ignore her ass. So like literally we went from like driving to school together, eating lunch together, like hanging out after work, like not after work, but after school, like basically every single day of our lives together. So like I wouldn't even call the bitch back because I was so afraid that I was going to like ruin the surprise. And I just remember it was like days, we had just had a few more days to go. And I was like telling Jen, I'm like, I don't know how much longer I could do this. She thinks I'm mad at her. And Sonia like pulls me aside. It was like during lunch or something. And you're like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, oh God. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. I just feel like you're really distant lately. Like, did I do something wrong? And it was just like, I don't even remember what I said, but I kind of like kept that narrative going a little bit. I was just like, I don't know. I'm just like getting closer to Jen. I don't know what to tell you. Cause like, it was just easier because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you almost didn't even show up. You didn't even go. So we tell her that like Jen is throwing this purse party.
Yeah.
And like that's how we got her there. And like one of the who did you show up with?
I don't remember.
I don't know. But you showed up with somebody and you were like, this is so weird. I'm going to like a purse party that like my best friend is throwing with somebody else and like I don't even want to go. And then like they were texting us like she doesn't want to come. And I'm like, she has to come. Get her to come. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then you were so confused. You were like, what the hell? And I was like, I'm sorry. This is why I was ignoring you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, this would make sense. Because like nothing happened.
To those close, like that I'm close to in my personal life, if like you have like a birthday or a big event coming up and I suddenly just go MIA on you, I'm probably involved somehow. And I just like, I'm trying to surprise you and I'm just really bad at it.
And she's not so I just good at surprises.
So bad.
I mean, you pulled it off. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
But like in hindsight though, looking back though, like that was like not a fun time because like it was like a full on month of like.
Yeah. And I really did think you hated me. In fact, one of the girls who was in on it, and I also can't remember her name. Like I was sitting there crying at lunch one day because I was like eating lunch alone. And she even sat at a different table and she was my friend and we were just like awkwardly staring at each other across and I like started crying and she's like, who cares if they hate you now? Like she basically was like trying to pretend like you guys actually did hate me. And I was like,
my God.
Like it was convincing. I mean, I didn't really know her that well, so I was convinced. But anyway,
I would have handled things a lot differently today. Today I'd be like, bitch, we're throwing you a party. Just like act surprised.
Calm
down. Now, what do you think about this cake?
Do you like it? Is it to your liking? Oh my God. I love it.
So funny.
Well, this episode, wait, have you shared?
I love how like with like my edits, I can always tell like when we're about to like transition because the transition word is well.
Well, shall we?
Well.
What do you have anything that else you want to share for the week though? Like this week was action packed, so it's like it's hard to really.
There's a lot that happened this week. There's like I said earlier, there's been some developments that are good changes. Can't talk about it yet. But I will next recording. That's been a lot. It's been like kind of like a mental mind fuck and like an emotional roller coaster these past several months. And everything just kind of came together this past week. And also during this past week, Hayden's been going through a growth spurt or something. And he's just really been letting me have it. So I've been dealing with a little tiny terrorist on top of other stuff. And it's just been exhausting. I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
I literally like sat on my couch like a slore of a human for like the better part of today. And I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. That's what Sundays are supposed to be for, in my personal opinion. We went to Maine Beer Company because they have the Center for Maine Wildlife there today. And they had like one of their little owls. Like I don't know what the tiny breed of owl is, but it was so cute. They had a snake and, we kind of just kept our distance and took lots of pictures from afar. And we had some pizza and it was just like really cute in there. One of my friends needed headshots, so I just quickly did headshots for her outside the building. And the kids were just adorable. So we had a good morning. Yeah.
Somebody call, I think I saw like on Facebook a while back, they referred to a snake as a nope rope.
A nope rope?
A nope rope.
Oh my God. Definitely
and
no
I
rope.
actually agree. It's definitely a nope rope.
Yeah.
Good. I don't
Absolutely
need to be
not.
messing with a snake.
Mm-mm.
I'm all set.
No,
I
not
never
even.
really minded them when I was younger, but it's like I think like with age comes like you're just more aware of
Right.
dangers than you were when you were a kid, and you're just so naive, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, snake, and now you're just like, oh, okay, you could
Right.
fucking kill me, so
Right.
I'm probably gonna stay away.
Right. Yeah. No, after living in Florida, snakes are just thoroughly terrifying, and I will never be their
Ugh.
friend. So this episode is going to be, it was going to be a coffee combos. I changed it to happy hour, and it's actually like a combination of both, but we'll call it a coffee combos because we're not trying to get lit over here.
Well, it's kind of both because I'm drinking coffee and
Yeah,
you're drinking champs, so it's kind
you're
of
right.
like
It's like a
a
50-50.
happy
Mm-hmm.
coffee
Mm-hmm.
convo.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll work on that.
We will. So it's
a
about,
mashup.
it's a mashup. I like mashup. It's
Yeah.
about a variety of topics, including the Alabama Supreme Court ruling about embryos, the pros and cons of popular children's TV shows. So I'm really excited to dive into that. And what TV shows we're currently binging when we have a little bit of time to ourselves. And announcement, we have a new discount code for the Portland, Maine area. Goldfish Swim School in Portland has given us a code to use for a free first swim lesson, and it's Mamas 2024, and you will need to call to use the code because you can't use it online. Their online system just isn't set up for discount codes right now. So definitely give them a call and schedule that first swim lesson because the place is amazing. It is so warm. The water is warm. The instructors are amazing, and Annabelle absolutely loves it there. So highly recommend.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I was there all weekend because they had their grand opening and I was doing the photography for it. And they're all just so sweet. Their instructors, the owner, everyone.
This is actually, you just remind me. So this is like actually following up on last week's episode. I was talking to Courtney last night and she was saying, because she was listening to the birthday special and we were talking about the dangers of being around a pool and stuff. And she was saying how, you know, it's like we make bath time so fun, you know? And so it's like kids gravitate to the water because bath time is so fun and they want to get in the bath and they want to play with their toys. And it's like, what's the answer? So they're like, do we make bath time not fun? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like kids want to go to the pool. They
know water is fun.
Like, yeah. So came across this. Well, it's not just this article. It's actually trending. It's everywhere in the news right now, unless you've been living under a rock.
Right.
But there's been some crazy things that are happening recently. Alabama Supreme Court rules that frozen embryos are children, which could in turn jeopardize IVF possibilities. So going to read this article. Where's this article from?
This one is from People.
Frozen embryos will legally be considered children under a new Alabama Supreme Court ruling. The decision comes as a result of a wrongful death lawsuit brought by couples whose frozen embryos were destroyed at a fertility clinic in December 2020 when a patient entered a cryogenic nursery storage unit and removed several embryos. Wait, did she remove them herself? No. Or did she have somebody else remove them?
So I think I read another article and I feel like it said that they removed them themselves, but I could be wrong.
Okay,
I don't know.
You guys should just read the fucking article.
I feel like it was themselves. Like, I feel like they snuck in and took them because apparently their hands like burned from. You keep reading.
Maybe I should just read this. Let me start over. Let me just fucking read the article. Let's try this again. Frozen embryos will legally be considered children under a new Alabama Supreme Court ruling. The decision comes as a result of a wrongful death lawsuit brought to a couple whose frozen embryos were destroyed at a fertility clinic in December 2020 when a patient entered a cryogenic nursery storage unit and removed several embryos. The sub-zero temperatures at which the embryos had been stored freeze-burned the patient's hand, causing the patient to drop the embryos on the floor, killing them. What a fucking idiot. A lawsuit was filed against the clinic and the Center for Reproductive Medicine alleging negligence in the Alabama's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act, had been violated. After a trial court dismissed the claims, the plaintiff filed an appeal. The parties to these cases have raised many difficult questions, including ones about the ethical status of extrauterine children, the application of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution to such children, and the public policy implications of treating extrauterine children as human beings.